All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to learning about medicinal use of aromatherapy to help reduce anxiety and stress. My name is Kimberly Zedalis. I'm the owner and operator of Integrative Health and Wellness located in Farmingdale, New York. I've been in the field of medicine for almost 30 years. I have degrees in both Eastern and Western medicine. I'm certified in advanced aromatherapy and registered with the National Association for Holistic Aromatherapy, otherwise known as NAHA. There's so much to say on the topic of aromatherapy when dealing with stress and anxiety, but I wanted to keep this to specific aspects on how to reduce stress and anxiety naturally through the use of essential oils. I'm also going to give a couple of tips on other things that you can do. Like was said before, please hold any questions till the end of this presentation, and I will try to get to as many answers as I can, as many questions I should say as I can. If I can't answer you, I'm gonna give you some my contact information so you can send it via email, and I can hopefully answer that in the next couple of days, and that'll be at the end of the presentation. So let's get started. So what is aromatherapy? Aromatherapy is also referred to as essential oil therapy, and it's the practice and science of utilizing naturally extracted aromatic essences from plants to balance, harmonize, and promote health of the body, mind, and spirit. It unifies both physiological and psychological processes. So when did aromatherapy begin? I'm also an Ayurvedic practitioner, about 6,000 years old. We've been using aromatherapy for a really long time. And it's in its infancy compared to the history of medicinal and aromatic plants used by humans. The historical utilization of such plants has been speculated to date back to the origins of mankind. Written records about medicinal plants date back to about 5,000 years to the Sumerians who lived in Mesopotamian civilization. So it's been around a really long time, and obviously it works. You know, if something doesn't work, they wouldn't continue doing it, right? So again, the history of aromatherapy, according to Marcel Gatbasset, Rene Maurice's son, in July of 1910, there was a famous laboratory explosion in which Rene Maurice sustained burns to his hands and scalp, which he inadvertently treated with lavender by throwing his arm into a vat of it. Much to his amazement, the lavender miraculously reduced the trauma to his skin to such an extent that he recovered quickly and more effectively than if he didn't use the oil at all. This experience inspired him to such a degree, which led to him going on a lifelong journey to discovering the therapeutic benefits of essential oils. Personally, I've seen some incredible things with using oils, especially with burns. I work as a radiology PA as well. One morning I went into work and one of the girls burned her hand on a hot iron, a curling iron, or actually a straightening iron. And she had this huge burn on her hand. So I went across the street to a little, sort of like a holistic pharmacy, grabbed some lavender, some vitamin C and pycnogenol, had her drink that down and put some lavender on her hand. Within about, I'd say about 10 minutes, the burning sensation stopped. And by like an hour or two later, the blister that formed was gone. It was incredible. Everyone at the office was flipping out about how it fixed her hand. So by the end of the day, you couldn't even tell that anything was there. I also had an experience of even my own husband burning his arm on an outside grill that we have, and wound up putting lavender. Of course, we went to the hospital and addressed it because it was a severe burn, but I wound up putting some lavender on it after, getting it addressed. and there's not a scar on his arm. Incredible. So there's a lot to say about it. So the modern form of aromatherapy was developed by René Maurice Gatvasse, who coined the term back in 1937. René Maurice was born in the French region of Lyon in 1881. In his early part of the 1900s, he joined forces with his younger brother, Jean, who was both a botanist and a chemist. Together, they performed experiments and researched the potential uses of exotic plants. They wound up spending time in Morocco, compiling a large selection of new plants and establishing distillation in North Africa. It was during that trip that they began to learn of the ways in which the Moroccan peasants used essential oils as medicine. This was intriguing to René Maurice, so he set out to discover the medicinal properties of essential oils and to educate himself and understand their efficacy in healing the human body. Modern day aromatherapy. So today, the therapeutic properties of essential oils are utilized and researched in many centers and clinics throughout the world. As a radiology PA, I myself have been using it with MRI patients since the 80s, actually, and have great success with helping claustrophobic patients get through MRIs or nervous patients getting through any kind of exam, such as a biopsy procedure. It really is an incredible technology that we have to help people get through things like that. So not only are they assessing the psychological effects or physiological effects, such as their antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties, but also the emotional and psychological effects that they have on mankind. Throughout time, many studies have been performed on how our 5 senses affect our thoughts, emotions, and physical state of being. Of the 5 primary senses, the sense of smell is considered to be the most neglected and least understood. Olfaction is a pathway into the body whereby essential oils can exert an influence on the body and so the mind. These essential oils stimulate multiple areas in the brain, modulate immunologic responses, influence the endocrine system, which regulates all biological processes, and these are the glands that produce and secrete hormones, and can affect emotional states due to their impact on the limbic system. The limbic system is a set of brain structures that support a variety of functions, including emotion, long-term memory, and olfaction. Within the nasal cavity, we have 2 main areas: the olfactory area, which is the superior portion, as you'll see on the image. It's on the superior part of the central portion of the cavity, whereas closer to the projection of the nose is the respiratory section. Olfactory epithelium, which is the skin, is made up of 3 types of cells, which include the olfactory receptor neurons, supporting cells, and basal cells. The olfactory receptor cells have the job of transducing odor into electrical signals. The supporting cells protect receptor neurons by secreting and removing mucus and dead sensory cells. Then we have the basal cells, which lie on the underside of the epithelium. Basal cells are stem cells, and they're capable of division and differentiation into either supporting or olfactory cells as needed. I think it's important to really know a bit of the science involved to really understand, how this actually affects our emotions. So it is very important to really understand the science behind it. So the olfactory receptor neurons are chemoreceptors that register chemical sensory input, such as essential oils. The dendrites, which are part of the olfactory receptor neurons, project directly onto the nasal mucous membrane surface, and each dendrite ends in several hair-like projections called cilia. These cilia have direct exposure with the outside world. The sense of smell is the only sense that has the amazing characteristic as well as regenerative capabilities that enable the scent cells to regenerate every 30 to 60 days. That's why when, with COVID, for instance, people lose their sense of smell sometimes, as a symptom. That's why it comes back. It usually can come back because we have that regenerative ability, which is incredible. And not every part of the body does that. So it's a pretty incredible sense that we have. Very important, always skin test prior to using any carrier or essential oil. To perform the skin patch test, you should do the following. So wash your forearm with mild soap. Make sure it's unscented and pat it dry. What I like to do is, if you're testing out a new carrier oil, you can do like a carrier oil on your left arm and put the letter C on the Band-Aid. And then if you want to test an essential oil, do it on the other arm and put an E, so you know that you're doing the essential oil versus the carrier oil, so you know if you have an allergy to either one. So dab I'd say 1 or 2 drops of the carrier oil and the essential oil onto the patch of the skin on the forearm. Place a bandage over the area and keep it dry. And then wait 24 hours. And then check for any signs of a reaction. If no reaction occurs, it's safe to use. So there are many safety concerns when using essential oils, such as possible dermal reactions, photosensitization, mucous membrane irritation, and just general toxicity. There are also many precautions one must take when using essential oils on or around infants, children, pets, and pregnant individuals. It's best to seek professional advice in these circumstances. It's not within the scope of this presentation to discuss all the possible reactions or interactions that can occur. However, I'd like to touch on some general safety precautions. Definitely, with the pets especially, I should say, you really have to know because they can be very toxic to your pets. There is actually specific aromatherapy for pets. But you really should, do your due diligence of research before doing anything like that, okay? So of course, keep all essential oils out of reach of children and pets. Do not use photosensitizing essential oils prior to going into the sun, tanning booths, or any laser treatments. Like if you're having laser hair removal or anything, you don't want to use that on that area for at least 24 hours. Avoid prolonged use of the same essential oil. It's just good practice because if you're using the same oil over and over again, you may eventually, just like, medications, you may, it may not work for you. It's always good to like switch it up a little. Do not use oils that you know nothing about. Always research each oil prior to the use for safety and application instructions. Perform skin patch tests prior to use. If you're pregnant or trying to become pregnant, use great caution and seek professional advice before using the essential oils. Keep essential oils away from your eyes. Keep essential oils away from flames such as candles, fire, matches, cigarettes, and gas cookers. Hopefully nobody's smoking out there. As well as highly flammable, as these are highly volatile, flammable oils. Make sure that there's good ventilation and do not use essential oils internally unless certified and fully trained to do so. So a little safety guidance. If you accidentally get an essential oil into your eyes, you should dip a ball, like a cotton ball or similar item, in fatty oil such as olive oil or sesame oil. And with care, just swipe it over your closed lids, then flush eyes with cool water and seek medical attention when necessary. If you have any sign of dermal skin irritation, apply vegetable oil or oil-based cream on affected area. If an individual such as a child ingests an essential oil, contact the nearest poison control center. Keep the bottle for identification purposes and have the child drink either a nut-based or whole or 2% milk, and do not induce vomiting. So what to look for when choosing an essential oil? This is always a big question. When selecting an essential oil, it's important to look for ones that come in an amber colored glass bottle. Light and heat can actually damage essential oils. That's why I'm not a fan of putting them, in the candles or in a flame, because you're actually changing the chemical composition of the oil or damaging it. These oils are highly volatile and not supposed to be stored in plastic of any kind. Make sure to read the ingredients label. It should state what it is exactly, whether it's 100% pure essential oil, and should list common name, Latin name, species, part of the plant used, how it's grown, whether it's organic or wildcrafted, and how it was extracted either by distillation or expression. If you see the bottle states essence oil, that means that it's probably mixed or blended with a carrier oil and not 100% essential oil. Pure essential oils should only list one ingredient. The label should also list the country of origin, although it may actually have a lot number that can be researched to obtain this information. Avoid mass-produced oils, from companies that don't take into consider sustainability and may not be really forthcoming about, where these oils are sourced from. A lot of times, some of these companies will make the oils expensive to try to trick their consumers into thinking it must be good and it must be the real thing. Okay, I think you can hear me. When selecting carrier and or essential oils, it's also important to look for ones that don't have added ingredients. This is referred to as adulterated oils, which are of poor quality. Pure therapeutic or medicinal grade oils are carefully grown, prepared, picked, and distilled under strict guidelines in order to deliver maximum bioactivity, energy, and chemical profile of that particular plant species. Due to the extensive work that goes into ensuring such quality is adhered to, these oils tend to be more costly than the synthetic or diluted brands that you may come in, you may encounter. So what are carrier oils and why do we use them? Essential oils are extremely powerful. They're highly concentrated plant constituents. Thus, they really need to be diluted in carrier oil before being utilized in aromatherapy. Some oils, they say that you can apply neat, such as lavender or carrot seed oil. So there are specific oils that you can use how we say neat, meaning by itself without a carrier oil. I like using carrier oils because they're fixed fat soluble oils and they don't evaporate, unlike essential oils. These oils contain vitamins, minerals, and proteins and essential fatty acids. So in their own right, they have many valuable therapeutic benefits. It's important to look at the properties of each carrier oil in order to determine which one's good for what matches your particular need or your purpose. So examples of carrier oils. So here's some examples here. So sweet almond oil is most widely used. It's suitable for all skin types. Jojoba oil, which is my go-to, my favorite, is chemically similar to the oil of our own skin, the sebum of our skin. That's why I like it so much. It really goes into the skin, and you know, I like using it for that purpose. And it's good for oily or dry skin. It's very balancing. Coconut oil, you know, with all these, you have to make sure that there's no allergy. It softens the skin, great for dry skin. Apricot kernel oil is moisturizing to the skin, again, suitable for all skin types. Avocado oil reduces wrinkles, softens skin, great for dry skin. Borage seed oil, GLA gamma linoleic acid, has omega-6 essential fatty acids, and is suitable for all skin types. Borage actually is an oil that expires sooner than the other oils. So you just have to be careful, you know, with expiration dates of some of these oils. That's also why I like jojoba oil, because it does have like anywhere between 3 to 5 year expiration. So it's a good long-standing oil. Evening primrose oil is excellent for treating many skin conditions. Grapeseed oil has astringent properties, helpful in tightening the skin, and it's suitable for all skin types. Hazelnut oil is astringent, also good for oily or acne skin, stimulates circulation. Macadamia oil has anti-aging properties and healing to the skin. Olive oil has antioxidants that neutralize free radicals, which is a whole nother conversation that I could have about free radical damage and what we can do to avoid that, but that's another talk. And it promotes wound healing. Sesame seed oil contains natural SPF to help protect the skin from harmful UV rays, and it's suitable for all skin types. Sunflower seed oil, it relieves skin conditions such as eczema and psoriasis, and it's suitable for all skin types. So methods of application. So massage, using the substances that carry essential oils into the skin, such as vegetable oils, gels, lotions, and creams. Bathing, use water dispersant such as honey, coconut milk, sea or Epsom salt, or vegetable oil. I actually, in the bath, like to use Dead Sea salt because it's got a lot of different minerals in it. Compresses, to make a compress, you fill a large bowl with water, hot or cold, but not too hot because you don't want to change the chemical composition of the oil. So I like to make it, you know, warm enough where I'm actually able to put my finger into it without, you know, burning myself. And you place 5 to 10 drops of oil with a dispersant in the water. Soak the cloth, then wring it out and apply directly to the skin. Cold compress to reduce inflammation, such as with an acute injury, which is like, you know, you just banged your arm and, you know, you're in pain and you want to make a compress. Or hot compress to relieve pain, such as, you know, with chronic conditions, like if you have long-standing knee pain, stuff like that, or with cramps. Spritzes, to make a spritz, you do either a 2 to 4 ounce bottle with mineral or distilled water and add like about 15 to 30 drops of the chosen essential oil and shake. I like making concoctions of different amounts of the oils. You want to look at, you know, whether an oil, you know, what notes they have to what you want to actually, you know, have it produce, you know, what effect you want to have the oil, the spritzer have. Inhalation, there are many ways that can be performed, just as like a direct inhalation, just smelling it direct from the bottle. Direct palm inhalation, where you put some on your palm, of course with a carrier oil, and you take your hands and you breathe in. Smelling salts, handkerchief, cotton ball. I also, a lot of times when I deal with, when I'm trying to help people with, say, detoxing, such as getting off of, cigarettes or alcohol and stuff like that. A lot of times I'll have them take a glass container, such as, hopefully it's an amber colored, because I like it to be amber colored. A little glass container, put a cotton ball in there and put, some of the essential oils on. For addiction, I like using things like black pepper, Lupura, and stuff like that. And then you can close the top, and then when you need it, you open the top, you smell, and that's it. Or inhaler tubes. You could even get necklaces that are really cool, that have little tubes in it that have the essential oils there. So when, say, if you're anxious or having stress and you want to just try to relax, you just open the tube, you smell it, and then you can close it, and then it's a necklace. Also, steam inhalation is another way that I like to do that as well. Diffusion, place 10 to 15 drops of the desired essential oil into a diffuser, such as an electric micro diffuser, pottery diffusers, forced air or water diffusers. My favorite actually is the forced air or water diffusers. The reason being is with forced air, they use a lot of the oil, so it's a little expensive to run, but it's the most medicinal way of diffusing an oil. The water diffuser is, really good as well. I'll show you a picture of the one I like. I have no, I don't sell anything. I have no interests of, telling you what I like, because I'd be making money off of it. It's not that. It's just, this is a good one. I really like this one. It's called the Vitruvi. I think it's a Canadian company. And this is an example of, direct palm inhalation. So they would put like maybe, some carrier oil and 1 or 2 drops of the essential oil, and then do direct palm. Stress and anxiety. So the Mayo Clinic defines anxiety as intense, excessive, and persistent worry and fear about everyday situations. Unfortunately, unhealthy stress and anxiety, the reason why I say unhealthy, because there is healthy stress, because otherwise we wouldn't get off the couch. But unhealthy stress and anxiety is at an all-time high. Due to our current environment in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic, socioeconomic difficulties, and differences in beliefs regarding governmental policy and regulations, we are being confronted with feelings of uncertainty, frustration, and confusion. It's my belief that things will get better and we'll be able to overcome these very difficult times that we are all facing. But it's important to try to reduce stress and anxiety any way we can. Aromatherapy is an important therapeutic tool that we can use and easily incorporate into our everyday life to do exactly that. Even at the offices I work at, like I said, when I helped that young lady with her hand, everyone in the office that entire day was calm. Everyone was like, why do I feel so relaxed? And I said, it's the lavender. And they asked for it to be spewed throughout the office every day, because it's just an incredible thing when you actually, see it in action. It's a lot of fun. So essential oils that are beneficial for stress and anxiety. This is by far not an all-inclusive list. This is just some of my go-tos. So understand that there's many more that can be used for stress and anxiety. I'm just going to give you a few. One of them I don't have listed here, but I really do like is Palo Santo. If you ever heard of that, it's a really nice essential oil that is used in a lot of ceremonies. It's from Ecuador, and it's a wonderful smelling oil. and it's very relaxing. It's very good for meditating. So if you see Palo Santo, definitely grab a bottle of that. Here, lavender, of course, everyone knows lavender. It's, one of the most used oils of all the oils. Topically, you can apply it to the bottom of the feet using a carrier oil, although they say you can apply it neat. I still like to use the carrier oil because I like it to not evaporate. I like it to actually stay within the skin for, a longer period of time. And like a jojoba oil really does that very thing. It holds it into the skin. You can mix it with Dead Sea salt or mineral salt in a water bath as well. Diffusion, use 5 to 10 drops with 1 cup of distilled water. Frankincense, you can actually apply it topically to the base of the skull, again with a carrier oil or at the bottom of your feet. To diffuse it, use 5 to 10 drops in 1 cup of distilled water. Ylang ylang is also one of my favorites. It's really good actually for people who have difficulty with sleep. I've recommended to so many people and they all say that was the best sleep I've ever had. So topically, you can apply the oil to the bottom of the feet with a carrier oil first thing in the morning. Just be careful that you don't end up, really being too relaxed because you want to get things done during the day, I'm sure. Diffusion, use 5 to 10 drops, again, in 1 cup of distilled water. Whoops, went too fast. Okay. Bergamot, use that in a diffuser, 5 to 10 drops in 1 cup of distilled water. Orange, again, you can use that in distilled water, 5 to 10 drops. It can be diffused for 10 to 15 minutes intervals throughout the day. Valerian root can also be used. It's again 5 to 10 drops in distilled water. You could even do a combination of oils, which I'll show you in a couple of slides, some recipes. And if anyone wants any of these recipes, you just, if you don't want to write them down, you can ask me for the recipes and I'll email them to you. Healthy lifestyle choices. Along with using essential oils to help reduce stress and anxiety, it's important to keep these other things in mind as well. Because I really think that it's, it's overall lifestyle that you really have to use to address any issues that you're dealing with. Exercise and maintain a healthy body weight. Combine aerobics, strength training, and stretching. Maybe consider some Tai Chi and yoga. Eat healthy whole foods, rich in plant sources of antioxidants. Avoid trans fats and excess caffeine, alcohol, sugars, MSG, aspartame, or any toxins. Learn more about yourself and your unique needs and values in both work and relationships. Journal to stay in touch with your inner feelings and give voice to negative thoughts and stressful events. Put yourself high on a list of things to take care of each day. Consider massage therapy or other body work. Meditate daily. A mindfulness-based stress reduction class is recommended for structure and support. Allow yourself creative outlets such as art, music, dancing, and/or creative writing. Live for your own heart's desires. Give yourself permission to figure out what those are. Always, this is very important, seek professional help when needed. Everyone can benefit from speaking to others or professionals, okay? So, being that I'm a radiology PA, I had to go here. I told you about how I use them for MRI. Sloan Kettering, I know people who currently work there, and back in the 1980s, like I said, I read an article about them using it for MRI. And it's one of the, largest cancer centers in the United States. And they've been implementing it, from then and for claustrophobic patients to get through MRI exams. It's been proven to be wonderful in helping people naturally reduce stress and anxiety. And, like I said, it's still being offered today. So obviously it's working. This is a really old article. I think it's from 1980s. It's so old that they don't even write down when it was created or anything. So it just, if you were to go on to that link, you'll see it's interesting. Or even type in, Sloan Kettering MRI, aromatherapy or essential oils MRI, and you'll see it come up. So here's the first blend. This is an anti-anxiety blend. I really like this one, although you have to be careful because rose oil is pretty expensive because it takes a lot of roses to make even a little drop of oil. Frankincense also from Oman was, not easily found because it was being too overly used. So for sustainability reasons, they had to reduce the amount that was being put out there. This is a great combination though. Beautiful, beautiful smelling. And so you would combine 8 drops of frankincense oil. You don't have to use 8 of rose, but because that is expensive, you can use 4 drops of rose, 4 drops of sandalwood or cedarwood, 4 drops of sweet marjoram oil, and then in a small amber glass dropper, combine the above oils and mix it with jojoba or fractionated coconut oil. Those 2 oils have, a shelf life. I believe it's like more towards the 5-year mark. So, it's good, but you have to be careful because some of the oils themselves, the essential oils, can deteriorate and become expired. But each oil has a different expiration date, so you really have to do a little searching. If you have any questions, you can always send that as a question on a specific oil and when it may expire. So, that's something that you can absolutely send my way. Once you mix it together, you gently shake it to blend. Here's another one. This is 10 drops of lavender oil, 4 drops of bergamot, and 4 drops of clary sage. Again, made the same way. This is a beautiful picture of clary sage. Clary sage actually has a lot of useful uses, I should say. Clary sage I also use for period cramps. If somebody has a lot of cramping going on, you put some jojoba oil, like a quarter size, on your palm and take 1 or 2 drops of clary sage and rub that into the lower abdomen. It really does help. I did that actually. A friend of mine was sitting with me and she was having really bad cramps. So I said, here, give me your hand. And I put it in her hand. I had her rub it on. And all of a sudden I see her eyes get really big. And I'm talking with somebody else and I turned to her and she says, is it supposed to work immediately? I said, it can, absolutely. So, she was sold on it. So here's another one. This is a really nice blend as well. Beautiful, beautiful smelling blend. 8 drops of frankincense oil, 2 drops of marjoram, 2 drops of lavender, 2 drops of chamomile, and 2 drops of ylang ylang. You may be very relaxed with this combination because it's a lot of the relaxant oils here. This is a strong one. So aromatherapy, stress and anxiety spritzer. Here's one I really like. It's 10 drops of lavender oil, 4 drops of petitgrain, 4 drops of geranium, 2 drops of basil in a 50 ml distilled water. You blend the ingredients together in an amber glass spray bottle. Spray is needed throughout the day, and always hold the bottle about 3 to 4 inches away from your face and close your eyes before spraying. Shake well before use. When you shake your oils, you don't want to like go crazy shaking it. Gently, go back and forth. Here's another, this is a bath blend. 1 ounce of jojoba oil, 8 drops of lavender, 4 drops of frankincense, 4 drops of ylang ylang, 4 drops of sandalwood. You fill the tub with warm water. You don't want to be too hot. Remember what I said about, the heat can chemically change the properties of these oils. So you want to make sure it's just warm water where you can actually put your hand in and not get burned. And you mix 1 teaspoon of coconut milk and 2 to 6 drops of anti-anxiety blend that's above. Add to tub and agitate and disperse the oil. Soak in there for about 20 minutes and massage any floating droplets of the oil into the skin and on the bottom of the feet. So here's my contact information. So if any of you want to contact me, certainly please feel free to do so. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation as much as I did. I really liked creating this for you. Breathe easy and live life to its fullest. And what you consume, you become, body, mind, and spirit. It's a takeoff on Buddha's what you think you become. This is what you consume, you become, because it is so true. And the information provided in this PowerPoint is intended for informational and educational purposes only and should not be substituted for any form of medical treatment or advice from a qualified medical professional. And consult your physician before beginning any type of programs that can affect your health and well-being. And the information provided has not been evaluated by the FDA and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Had to put that in there. And that's it. The end. I'll put my information back up here. Oops. Okay.
Thank you for that presentation. It was really interesting.
Oh, good.
I learned a lot.
I apologize. This is my first rodeo.
You did a great job.
Thank you. It was fun. I enjoyed making this.
Christine said, "Thank you, Kimberly. This was very interesting and informative."
Oh, wonderful. I'm happy. I'm happy you were able to come.
And she said that you were great.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. How many people did we have on here?
We have 3 people on here.
Ah. Okay. Well, if anyone has any questions, I'm more than willing to answer.
If anybody has any questions, you could just type it in the chat box.
I hope this means that I answered everything that I could possibly answer.
Oh, Christine actually just asked, do essential oils expire?
They do. So they all have a little different expiration date. So like know something's expired, you Google's a good friend of yours, right? So I'm sure if you just type in the oil, you'll know like what they say, but in order to know if something's expired, you know, the color may change, the viscosity may change, whether like the thickness of it may change. The smell may, you know, the odor may be not so good. Definitely like citrusy, you can really tell any citrusy type of essential oils. But yeah, they absolutely do expire. Usually like, you know, some like a year, some, you know, 2 to 3 years. 3, I'd say, is usually the max that I would say that an oil can stay for. But some of them, actually, I shouldn't say that because some of them over time even get better. You know, like certain things like Palo Santo is one that can stay for a while. Palo Santo is very interesting. The tree actually has to die a natural death. It has to be fallen over on the ground. It has to be about 70 years old before it produces oil. It's incredible. It's an incredible oil. I can't say enough about Palo Santo. I hope that answered your, oh yes, thank you. All right, well, if anyone wants to reach out to me, you have my contact information. And this was a lot of fun. And thank you for joining and listening to my presentation.